Hello there and welcome to my YouTube channel, Julia Nailcraft. So it's time for Dawn and Julia Create. I will just read out the challenge. So we're to do a double page spread in our journals that we've just made. We're to use the Queenie and Dotty stamp sets, which are these two. And we can use the honeycomb stencil. We've got gesso, black pen and watercolours and 2 distress inks or oxides of our choice. So this is actually Saturday, this is going live today, and I thought I'm okay because I've got bits coloured up. But I'm just hoping that that's going to be allowed because she's mentioned watercolours. I may have to cheat just for time's sake. Right, I'm not really happy with any of these pages because I just kind of think unicorns and bumblebees together aren't really working for me. I'm just going to take these tags out so that I'm working on a more even surface. So basically I'm going to get this page and gesso that out and then work out what I'm going to do from there. We'll go from there. So how is everybody? It's been a hectic, I mean, I know I'm normally running late with, you know, stuff, but it has been a particularly busy week. We just got back from Peterborough on Tuesday night. I've been packing most of the week, packing orders and things. So we've got our what do you call it, thread there, but that's just going to add to the texture, so I'm okay with that. Yeah, and also I am going to be launching a new website on Tuesday, so I have literally been up since the crack of dawn till the early hours of the morning every day this week, and I'm exhausted and I haven't had much time, so I'm hoping that if I do have to bring in some pre-coloured images that Dawn will forgive me, because I really, yeah, it's just been extenuating circumstances in this particular instance. So, yeah. I'm hoping that that will be okay. So, I'm just going to get some, as I said, some gesso over this. Let's get a bit of backing paper just so I can take the gesso right to the edges. But yeah, so this is the thing, these particular colours and what we had on this journal wasn't working for me for the brief that we have now. So that's the one advantage of gesso, you can just white it out and start fresh. So I think I will just go on and continue doing that. I'm going to hope, I think I might have had a Queenie that I coloured with watercolours, but I think I might have used her on a project already. So I will have a route through my bit box. And we'll see how we get on. Right, I'm going to come back once this is gessoed and dry. Okay, so that's it all dried. I have force dried it so it's bubbled slightly there, but that's just added texture. Also managed to get gesso over this page, which was kind of a completed page, so yeah, that's going to now become a mixed media background. Right, so what I'm going to do is I am going to get some salvaged Tina onto my page to create a sort of sky-ish type background. At the minute I'm just wanting to get colour on, so I've got my acrylic block which I've just put plenty on, and I'm going to just spritz that with water, and I'm just going to squidge it onto the background. As I said, I'm just trying to get a bit of colour on and see where we go from there. Oops. It's looking quite good. Spread it a bit more. I have no idea what I'm doing. Can we tell? Right. So let's get this dried a little bit. And then what I want to do is come in with my honeycomb stencil, but I actually want to almost create a mop-up page. I want the mop-up part for it. So we'll just dry this and I will show you what I mean. I might just do another layer like this. So I'll dry this. I'll do a second layer using the exact same technique that I've just used, and then we'll maybe go from there. So I've pulled in my new Pink Pig journal. I just had to get myself a new journal because I finished the other one. I just felt like I needed a new journal. Even though I've got masses of them, it was just kind of like I really felt like I deserved a brand new journal. So on the craft store they were selling the Pink Pig ones, these ones, and they were, I got 3 of this size because they were in a pack and 1 big large 11x11 one. So I'm looking forward to getting playing in this. So what I'm wanting is the reverse of this stencil. So I'm almost wanting what would be the mop-up page. So I'm just going to get my stencil and ink this up here. So I'm creating a background for another day. But then I'm getting the ink on the back of the stencil, which I want for today's project. So here we go. So I've got, as I said, to me that reminds me of, I know it's meant to be like a honeycomb, but every time I do it, it reminds me of, like, you know, the Blockbuster thing. I love a pea please Bob. It reminds me of that. I kind of want a little bit more ink on these bits. Right, there we go. Right, so I'll pull this back in. And I've got a lot more colour now. That has made such a difference just doing a second layer. So I'm going to spritz the back of my stencil. And then I'm just going to pop this down and we're going to get like the subtle elements of the hexagon. It's not in your face, it's just very subtle. But to me it will be there and it will make a difference. So I'm just trying to get as much of that on as possible. And we'll give that another waft. I'll show you how much ink is still on here. Look, I'll tell you what, if I just pop that to the side. So I'll get my journal again, just maybe get this side, and then if I go like this and just spritz it slightly and grab my cloth and brush into the stencil. So I always clean my stencils off in a mop-up journal. There we go, see, and we've got more there. It's subtle, but it is there. So I always just keep cleaning in journals, because yeah, you don't want to waste that gorgeous lovely ink. Right, give this a quick waft. So we've got a really subtle honeycomb look. I am going to bring more honeycomb. I'm sort of going to build that with a second colour, but I just sort of wanted a nod to it. But what I am going to do, because I'm most likely going to build a scene, because that's my favourite thing to do with these stamps, I'm just going to darken all the edges with this same ink. So I've just got my blending mat, and I'm just going to put the edge of the page and pull this in a little bit. It has moved some of my smudgy effects, but I can always add a bit more of that back on if I want. Okay. So, I've lost the ability to talk. Honestly, I'm so ridiculously tired, it's not funny. So if my brain's not working, I am sorry. But when you do journal pages like this, it just seems like you're adding layer upon layer and creating more and more of a mess. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it just all pulls together. So never panic now, because of the nature of the mediums. I'm sort of blending out some of the elements that I had sort of sitting there, blended out a little bit. But it's just going to give a more solid edge to the page. And then to get some of that detail back, I've got a bit of ink left over on my blending mat from doing that. So if I just give that a spritz, and then just to get some of the detail back in the edges that have sort of been wiped away, I'm just going to stick that back in. So I've now got my blue edges, but I've still got that sort of mottledy pattern, and I'm not wasting any of the ink, but it's going to give it a much more uniform look. There we go. genuinely don't. And see, then what I would do is that last page that was a bit pale, this one here, so we've got the details and it was a bit pale. I'll just sort of literally just wipe it on there. Not going to waste any of that lovely ink. There we go. And this is quite often how I build up pages. I don't even think about them, they're just cleaning away. Right, once again I'm going to blast with a heat gun, so I'll be back when I've done that. I'm going to come in with the stencil again. This time I'm coming in with the mustard seed, so that's me now using my 2 allocated distress inks. So we've had salvage patina and now we're going to go a mustard seed, and that's just to bring some of this honeycomb in. So I'm going to pop it in 3 different areas, which helps with the rule of 3s and just pulling your page together. So we've got some there. I'm going to pop a little bit along the bottom, and then we can maybe have another section just coming down here. Okay. With it being a hexagon, you can just sort of move it down, match up the previous elements and bring it down. So that's me now got a bit of a page. Again, I am just going to pull my mop-up page in. I think I'll go with the darker one this time, and I'm going to grab, let's give this a spritz, and we'll get some of those yellow elements down on there as well. And as I said, this is all just ready for another day, or it might be ready for my live. I've got a live today at 4 o'clock, so actually the live will be airing before this video is airing, but we'll call this prep for that. Okay, so again that's just sort of added extra bit of detail. Right, so where are we? I want some text detail, so what I'm going to do is grab some of these sentiments. I think I'm going to do sweet like honey, and I'm just going to get a little bitty crafting block. She says, I don't even know if I've properly unpacked. Oh yeah, I've got some here since I've come back. I'm like, and also because we are launching our own shop, I've got products and stuff that I'm going to be selling, so it's not just JMC stuff we're going to be selling in the shop. So I've been having to sort of find homes for those. I've been doing stock takes, so I am literally all over the place, so I am sorry if I seem a bit all over the place, because basically I am. So I quite like a text stamp, but obviously we don't have a full background, but you don't need a background stamp. If you've got a little sentiment stamp, you can turn that into one of these text stamps quite easily. Now I'd like some black splatters, but we can bring that in because we're allowed watercolours, which is fabulous. I'm just going to get some of these in like so, and then I'll probably switch to the other sentiment and add some of those. So I think this is what's good about limiting your supplies. Sometimes it requires you just to, you kind of think, oh, well, I would like this. And it just shows you don't need everything. Just look at what you've got and, you know, make what you've got work for you. If you see an idea, it doesn't mean you have to have the exact same product as someone else. You can just use what you've got and still create a similar effect. I sometimes think that we can be more creative when we limit our supplies like this than any other time, because we have to think outside the box. So that's the sweet like honey bit. I'm now going to grab the second one there, which we've got, which is You're So Sweet. And I'm going to add some of those, and it's the same font, so I'll add some of those in and to those, just to mix it up a little bit. Build up a bit of a background. So I'm going to grab, I think I'm going to use my Kuretake Gansey Tambies, because quite frankly I haven't used them in ages. So I'm going to get some of the extra black detail on this. Now let's remember which one's black. I think it's this one. It can be quite deceptive. Yeah, that one looks black. So let's just get a little bit of... It needs to be a bit runnier. Just to sort of break that text up a bit and make it look a bit more like it belongs. These are awesome paints, these. They're, wow, that was a bit more splatter than expected. Never mind. We'll go with it. Right. So, once again, we're at wafting stage. Now, I'm sorry, I'm going to use the images that I do have pre-coloured. And Dawn, if that means I'm on the naughty step, I am so sorry, I really am. I remembered in my head what the brief was. It was the Queenie stamps, the Queenie and Dottie stamp, the stencil, the gesso, and I'd completely forgot that the watercolour was on it. It was only when I went to film and I double checked it. And then I realised that we probably meant to watercolour the image up. Otherwise I'd have been a bit more prepped, but I'm hoping you can forgive me. And I promise you the next challenge is amazing, Dawn. You will love it. As long as the thing, I've ordered something, but I'm just waiting for it to arrive. But you will love me. It's not cruel or mean or anything. It's absolutely amazing. You will love it. I know you will. So I'm hoping that that's going to at least mean that my stay on the naughty step isn't overly long. But I'm hoping that you'll appreciate that it's extenuating circumstances. So... I'm just going to take out elements that are, so we've got this is part of the stamp set. I do love that stamp. This is one of those that it's like, and look, for that one there, I've chopped the mushroom off. So it was actually designed, when I drew it, to be like a branch on the ground. That is how I drew it, and that's how I envisioned it. And then all the makes that I made, I stuck it in the sky. But if you're not fancying a mushroom in the sky, you can just chop the mushroom off, which is quite cool. Right, so I've got out these. So there you go, there's my mushroom that was chopped off. So what have we got? We've got that, and these flowers belong to, oops, these flowers belong to the Queenie set, so we can use those. And we've got Queenie, and we have Dottie. Alright, so we've got those. I don't think I ended up colouring any of the love hearts and things in, but yeah. So these are what I've got, and as I said, if it means I'm on the naughty step, I'm incredibly sorry. Look, we've got Dottie, who's dressed up like Queenie. Ah, dear, they're too cute, but I might just stick a red one in. There we go. And I like the little mushroom there, that is cute. The trouble is, the cloud stamp is not in these two. And do you know what it needs? It needs a cloud. But we do have a black pen, so I might have to just add my own clouds. But you know, I can't really throw too much of a strop because, you know, we're using non-watercoloured images. But please forgive me, please. I'm sitting here with pitiful eyes, praying that I can be forgiven. Nope, I think I'm just going to have these, and I think I'm going to have them further over. Oh, we also don't have a pencil for me to do grass. Oh, right, okay. It's all good, it's all good. It's all good, people. We will work it out. Right, I think I quite like that as a layout. So I'm going to just stick that down. What I am going to do is pull in my watercolours and just ground this a little bit. And I'm also going to, let's grab some gesso. We need some clouds. So I'm just going to grab some gesso and paint in some sort of cloudy shapes that are now going to have big black blobs in them. But you know, we'll live. Try not to disturb what's going on underneath too much. Totally kind of putting sticking black into my white pot of gesso. That's not overly clever. Right, there we go, hang on. Okay, and then we'll put one up here. And as I said, I will doodle them in. Because I just need a cloud. You can't build a scene without a cloud. So this is why I have clouds on everything. So you keep wondering why on earth there's another cloud. It's like, yeah. Do you know what, actually, I'm going to have to get all the clouds from all my stamp sets and stamp them all out and see how awesome they all look together, because there's got to be lots of different shapes of clouds now. Right, so I've done that. They're going to become clouds in a little bit. I'm just going to get some of these colours. So I'm going to activate some of these. Just activate loads of them. I love these. These used to be my absolute favourite go-to, and I use them all the time, and I haven't actually properly played with them in ages. I'm just going to pop these aside. I'm just, oops, going to bring in some bit, oh, that's interesting, it's sitting on the surface because of the gesso. I'm just going to try and bring in a little bit of colour just along the bottom so that our characters are grounded and they're not floating in the air. And I will create a grass effect, but I've got black pen, so it's alright, we can doodle it in with a black pen. So we're all good. We're going to be okay. Right, I'm going to get a bit of the darker blue in there as well. I have to mop up some of this. Got a bit heavy-handed just there. It's more that I don't want it running down the spine. I'd also quite like to see the contrast of the different colours. I'll bring that in here. Bit of a mess at the minute, but by the time we've got all the details in, we'll be good to go. Right, that's looking good. And I'm just going to add a little bit of the blue just at the corner here. It's totally running in the wrong direction. That's not what I'm wanting at all. There we go. Have it coming down. Stop it, behave. Behave, pesky page. Right. I need to dry this a little bit. Yeah, that's just to sort of frame it a little bit. Right, so we're back to blasting with the heat gun again. So that's my page. Sometimes I love, I mean, I'm all for letting things dry naturally, and quite often I do, but sometimes when you force dry, especially with watercolour, you get these sort of really cool cells, which I think on a mixed media page looks awesome. Right, the other thing is because I force dried this gesso, it's gone all bubbly, which means we've got, ooh, that's probably not the best thing to do with my Jane Davenport pen, which means we've got lots of texture in our cloud, which is just a bit awesome. There we go. See, clouds make everything better. They really, I don't know, to me I do love a cloud. I love a cloud, I love a dangle. There we go. Awesome. Awesome sauce. Right, I'm going to have this in the air between these clouds up there. Where's my glue? Do I have glue? Who knows? Did I tell you Dawn bought me nice glue? She's so good. I think this is the new one. She saw that I was running out and got me another one. She's just lovely. Do you think if I keep being nice, she'll keep me off the naughty step? No, she's genuinely lovely. I'm not just saying that to stay off the naughty step. I'm happy to accept my punishment. Pay the price for my crime. Right, there we go. So we've got that in the air there. And then I'm going to also just grab my black pen because I want this to look a bit more like grass now. Under normal circumstances, I would most likely come in with some form of coloured pencil. Just, you know, various shades of green to create the grass. but we don't have that luxury today, but that's okay. I'll just do it with my black pen. So I'm literally just scribbling, scribbling, scribbling. This is why a black pen is on my list of essentials, because there are just so many uses, and when you run out of other things going, oh, then you're like, oh, well, I'll just do that instead. Right, I'm also, while I'm at it, just going to do my border. Since I've got my pen out, then may as well. So I have to say, when like I first thought about having to do a page in this journal, I'm looking at my yellow bumblebees and my red what do you call it, ladybugs, and then I'm looking at a journal full of unicorn paper and pinks and things. I was a bit like, oh my goodness, but it just shows that if you are making junk journals to art in, it doesn't really matter what you put in, because whatever the first page is just becomes a really subtle thing. You can actually still see the pink tone, but we've kind of completely lost it now, and it works with what we've created today, which is awesome. Right, so I'm going to pop that there. Right, so what do I have? I have my little Dotty and Queenie just there with a little mushroom. Oh my goodness, I do love these stamps. And I know I designed them and I know I made them, but honestly I do love them. They're just so cute. I just can't help but smile, and I just can't help but just make stuff, and every time I make something with them I just end up going, it's so cute! Because you just can't help yourself, because it really is. Right, I'm going to put that over because she's going to end up right in the centre, which I don't want her getting all folded up, so I'll just squish them along a little bit, and then we'll pop Queenie just here. And that there with the wings, it's vellum actually, which means I shouldn't have put the glue over them, but I completely forgot they were vellum. Never mind. There we go. And then we'll pop a little mushroom just there, so the mushrooms come off this bit and come down to the ground, so there are multiple ways that you can use this. So I'll just pop that there, and then I'm going to have my little yellow flowers over here. I feel like we need another one at least, so that, you know, rule of threes and all. I feel like I'll pop another, or if I had, yeah, we'll do that. Okay, so let's pop this down. I'll probably chop bits of it off. That's okay, so pop that there. And then we will get these ones here. Okay. Like so, and then another one. And now I'm scanning to see what on earth I have done with my scissors, even if I even have scissors. It is funny though, because it's like I take all my craft stuff with me, and then you come home, and literally I came home, I think I arrived about 6:30, 7 o'clock, and then by 8:30 I was packing orders, because for the Hermes ones you have to book a Hermes collection, and you have to book it before 3 o'clock to get it the next day. So I was able to go on and book a Hermes because I don't want people to have to wait too long. So yeah, I was busy. I literally came home after a 9-hour drive and I started packing orders, and then the whole of the following day you're packing. So it's like days later before you even get to like unpacking all the craft stuff that you took down with you, and it takes you a little while to sort of get it all into place. I think that's it. I kind of want a sentiment, but oh, we've got some bumblebees. Let's stamp some bumblebees in. Now normally I would colour these with pencil after having gone on so many layers, but we're restricted again to the watercolours, and see, so I've not gone completely bad. It's just that I've used my images I've already coloured. I'm hoping that that's okay. Right, so let's get some bumblebees down. So, oh, I've stamped it right across a big black blob. How clever was that? That's going to make life interesting. As I said, normally I would colour over it with pencil because the pencil medium would go over all of this. Okay. but we'll see. We'll see what we can do. Right, so I'll come in with my yellow paint. Thankfully, because it's VersaFine Clear, it's not going to move. I might just give it a little waft to heat set it. Okay. So I just get a little bit of yellow paint. I'm just going to paint the whole thing yellow. Pop a little bit into the wings. But the wings can be a bit waterier, so I'll come and sort the wings in a minute, but for the minute I'm just, oops, that's obviously hit some of the black that was underneath, and that one's bound to hit the black that was underneath because, you know, I decided to stamp it right across the biggest, blackest blob that there was there. Oh, busy trying to book a couple of nights away. But a place that I've seen, there's only one weekend where that's available during the school holidays, and I couldn't book it online for some reason, so I've had to leave a phone message. So hoping the phone's going to go at some point and we'll get somewhere. Right, so I'm just going to waft this dry now. Oops, actually that's not what I wanted to do. What I wanted to do was grab a load of water and just pull some of that yellow out, but really watery, into wings. And I shouldn't have done it there because we've got the black blobs. The curse of the black blobs. Thankfully we have cloth and watercolour, and it's all just very forgiving, which is wonderful because I'm making a complete big Z of it all. Right, let's just bring out a little bit of glitter would be quite good. Right, now we'll just dry these now. Yeah, kind of want the sentiment, but we weren't told any extra white paper, and I think because I really want to make sure that the rest of it I don't sort of just get carried away and just keep adding things, because I realise that I have been a bit naughty by using the pre-coloured images, and technically they should be done with watercolour. But I'm hoping, as I said, that I can be forgiven for that, so I just need to make sure that I'm being very good, because I would quite like to have one of the sentiments on a separate piece of paper and then sort of edge it and stick it down so it stands out from the rest of the page, especially as we've sort of created a bit of a text background, but extra paper wasn't on the list. That's just popping. Watercolour shouldn't pop, that'll be because there's gesso on underneath it. Right, so I've kind of dried those, and then what I will do is, now that that's dry, we'll get the black elements coloured in. So it should look slightly more bumblebee-ish. So even though I've not got my pencils, I'm very concerned I'm going to destroy my pen there. It's because I'm working on slightly wet stuff, and these pens do write over absolutely everything. But obviously they're not designed to write through wet medium, so be careful. So I'm just going to use a Pro marker instead. There we go. So we've still managed to create a bumblebee sort of looking sort of thing. Right. So I don't know what to do about my sentiment. I think that if I just stamp it onto the page as is, it's going to get lost, so I might just leave it and we'll just have to live with the fact that we've no predominant sentiment on this particular one. It's funny drawing over these crusty bits. Here we go. So, a few extra bumblebees. Yeah, so I think I'm going to actually call that done. As I said, once again, I do apologise for cheating slightly. And please do pop over to Dawn, because she will have done it properly and she won't have cheated and she'll have rocked it because she's amazing. Plus, I'm quite envious of her journal, to be honest. Hers is a nice square one. So yeah, I can't wait to see what she's actually done with it, and then how she's tackled sort of unicorn paper with bumblebees and ladybugs. Can't wait to see what she's done. So please do pop over and check out our lovely Dawn. If you have enjoyed it here, please do consider liking and subscribing, and I will be back with you very, very soon. Okay, take care then, and goodbye.